Well, hello, and welcome to Getting Started with AI for Business, presented by the Lavender Dragon Team for the Hendersonville Chamber of Commerce. I wanted to let you know that this is an interactive webinar, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to raise your hand and ask. And I also wanted to let you know that this is not a sales pitch webinar. This is something that the team is doing for the Chamber of Commerce and chamber members to just help build your information, your knowledge, and your expertise. So don't feel like you are going to be hit with a sales pitch at the end because you're not. So the purpose of today's webinar is getting started with AI for business. And this is part of a 6 webinar series that will run through June every other Friday, 9:30 to 10:30. The replay will be sent out to registered attendees, and it will also be up on the School of Techno website so that you can go back and listen and watch and learn at your convenience, or if you've got something that you would like to refresh yourself on. The webinar series covers 6 different topics where we focus on useful tools, actual case studies, and speaking in clear language. So we're not going to use a lot of tech speak. We're not going to get into the weeds with the scientific, mathematical functionality of large language models and data analytics. We're really focusing on what you can do as a business owner to start implementing AI into your day-to-day business. And Josh, who's also joining us on the webinar as part of the team, we are here to help you. So if you have questions or if you'd like to set up some time to ask questions one-on-one because you don't feel comfortable doing that in a webinar, let us know. We're here to help. So we're going to focus today on what AI is, why it matters for your business, and how you can start using it right away, even if you don't have any tech background at all. So covered today, what AI is and what it isn't, why AI matters for small businesses, some practical use cases, some easy first steps, some common mistakes, and then if there are questions, we'll open the floor to questions. If not, we'll end the webinar a little bit early and you can go practice what you just learned today. Now, one of the things I want to talk about too is that AI is a tool. And with all the hype that's out there, a lot of folks feel as if, oh my gosh, I've like missed the boat, or I'm never going to catch up, or it's so hard to learn. But think about it as a tool. Think about the first time you used word processing software, for example, whether that was Microsoft Word or something in, an earlier version, or the first time you did a PowerPoint, or, some type of a presentation. That was a tool. There was a learning curve. Your first efforts are not going to be as good as your results are after you've used the tool for a while. But my recommendation is to practice, make time every day. 5, 10, 15 minutes so that you can get comfortable with the tool, get comfortable with the environment. If time permits, I'm going to share with you one of my favorite AI creation tools called Bootle Box. And if you attended our in-person session at the Chamber last month, you saw Josh and I talking about that as well. I like it because it's an aggregator. It allows you to test different AI platforms for a very reasonable monthly cost. And just keep in mind, all of these platforms have generally a free and a paid version, but you are able to do more with the paid version. We do not get paid for recommending any of these products. These are just the products that the team and I use on our day-to-day basis. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about what AI is. Now, AI is short for artificial intelligence, and that's a software that can simulate human tasks. It's based on machine learning models. And so the AI appears to understand, it predicts, and it generates content. Now, one thing you want to think about when you're dealing with AI is not human. And when working with AI, you have got to maintain that human element, at least for right now. You are still going to need to edit. You're still going to need to proof. You're still going to need to make some changes so that it speaks in your voice. But much like using a search engine, the AI understands your requests. And it's based on millions and millions and millions of bits of data where the AI has been trained on the data and then looks for language patterns. And so while we think that AI is super smart, right now what it's really doing is it's looking at language patterns and making predictions. So if I say the sky is, and I don't give any other information, the AI may come back and say blue because so often in literature, on websites, and scientific journals, when we share with young children like colors and stuff, we talk about the sky is blue. Where the prompting comes in, which is our next session, is where you're working with the AI to give it specific instructions on what you need it to do and the type of content you need it to generate. So here's some tools that you may have already heard of. ChatGPT. And ChatGPT now does text and images. And this was the AI platform that really shook up the industry a couple years ago when OpenAI, which is the parent company of ChatGPT, launched to the public November of 2023. Now, Canva Magic, a lot of businesses use Canva to design their graphics. And Canva just did a major update yesterday to their whole Canvas studio and incorporating AI even more deeply. Pictory is one of the tools that we use to create AI generated videos. These are not talking head videos. These are not videos with people. These are basically what some folks in the entertainment industry call B-roll videos, but you've got graphics, movement, voiceover, and music, and it's a relatively easy entry point. Later in the series, Josh is going to be sharing with you some AI video tools like HeyGen that he works with pretty exclusively. And then we're also going to talk about some AI art tools, and that's the third session. Microsoft Copilot. If you use the Microsoft Office suite, you may have noticed that that Copilot button appears everywhere. And so Microsoft has integrated AI into their product line so that you can do deeper data analysis, for example, on spreadsheets. You can ask the Microsoft Copilot AI in Word how to help you rephrase something. Google has a similar suite if you're a Google Workplace user where the AI is embedded. So, for example, we use Google Drive quite a bit, and now I get this message that pops up saying, "Would you like me to summarize this folder for you? How about this? Would you like me to create this for you?" Sometimes it's annoying. There are places and ways to turn off the AI if you don't want to use it. And there are times when you may say, I don't want to use this tool. And there are other times it's like, yeah, I'd really like to. I've got to write a difficult email to a client about a problem, and I'm really not sure how to phrase it in a diplomatic way. Using the AI tools that are embedded in your email can help you kind of come up with some ideas, or you can say, hey, I'm thinking about saying this. How would you reword it? So, just to give you some ideas of ways that AI is now being embedded into the day-to-day business tools that we use and how you can use it. Next up, let's talk about what AI isn't. So, AI is not perfect and it's not human. And so, again, AI is going to make mistakes. And I cannot stress this enough. When AI provides an answer to something, you need to be sure that you are double checking the accuracy of that answer because you don't want the AI to randomly go rogue and then come up with something that's incorrect. Don't use AI with confidential information, especially if you're using what's called an open platform like ChatGPT. So do not feed it all of your sales data. Do not feed it confidential client emails and demographic information because while it will aggregate this information, you still want to be very aware that we're not exactly sure what the AI is going to do with that information. And there have been several lawsuits that have come up over the last 2 years about AI used this data without our permission. AI scraped this database. AI's done this. AI's done that. So just think about that. The next thing is it doesn't think. As much as we want to think that the AI thinks, and I have named my chat GPT, I've named it Sage. I asked the AI what it wanted to be called, and AI said, call me Sage. So it gives you a more human-like experience, but it's still predicting things based on patterns and other information it has collected. It's also not a strategy or something to replace you. What I recommend thinking about it is it's part of your strategy. So for example, do you have a social media marketing strategy? Perhaps you paid a social media consultant or company to help you create that strategy. They're still not you. They are working with the information that you provide to help you with your marketing. Perhaps you're doing all your social media yourself, all of your marketing yourself, but you don't have a strategy. It's kind of scattershot, like, oh, I got some slow time. So this week I'm going to just bombard, social media with all kinds of stuff. And then I go disappear for 3 weeks. And I'm guilty of this myself as a business owner. So think about AI as a tool that will help you improve your strategy and as a tool that can help take some of the load off so that you've got more time to focus on the things that are really important to you and your business. So think about like it's a power tool. It amplifies what you already do. It can also serve as a brainstorming partner to help you think through things that you might not have considered. And I'll stop for questions at the end, so please write them down. I know I'm like kind of doing a lot of information in a short time. I just want to make sure that we all have a solid foundation. So, as a small business, why should you pay attention to AI? I know from chatting with my friends that are small business owners as well, their general feeling is, oh, it's just one more thing I have to learn. Am I going to have to take classes? Am I going to have to, spend hours and hours and hours using this? Oh, it's just, it's not useful anyway. I don't trust it. People are going to know that AI wrote this. And those are all valid concerns. But as a small business, some things you want to think about is how can AI save time on repetitive tasks? How can you use AI to help you automate things? What about producing content faster or more efficiently? So, for example, if you're in Hendersonville, where several of us are, we had bad storms last week. And so maybe you're a roofing company and you want to get something out that's very timely, that is supportive to the community about the storm damage, but also letting them know that you're available to help. So you can use AI to help you craft a thoughtful, meaningful, empathetic, helpful post or series of posts to share on social media, to send out via email without having to spend hours and hours trying to think, wordsmith and think of the exact words. AI also gives you access to a lot of creative tools without having to hire out an expensive agency. Now, let me just reinforce that it's still going to take time. And I'm going to put Josh on the spot in a minute because he does a lot of our creative to just kind of talk about just because the tools are there doesn't mean it's necessarily going to speed up the whole process, especially when you're dealing with video tools. So I'm going to pause for a second. Josh, you don't have to come on camera, but would you like to just share a couple things about working with some of these creative tools?
Yeah, sure. So beyond what the text-based AI stuff is, like ChatGPT and the like, there's also AI picture tools. Everyone's probably seen Dolly or Midjourney and stuff like that. But there's also tools that can replicate voice, which we use quite a bit for generating voiceover work. And yet again, you're kind of up to the whims of the AI as to how good those voices are. You, I mean, you feed it a sample of, say, my voice or a voice of one of our clients, which they give consent to, and then we give it a script and it will generate it. But each time you generate it, it will read it in a different way. So depending on the how we want the line to be read, we might have to generate it like two, three, maybe four times to get it just right. So so even though this helps automate quite a bit and make it to where it's a bit more hands off, so we don't have to get that one person who might be busy to read the lines themselves, there's still quite a bit of human oversight that's needed.
Excellent. Yes. So again, just because the tools are available doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the right thing the first time. And so thank you for that, Josh. Think about, for those of you that maybe grew up with a handy parent or a handy grandparent or work in the construction industry, that thing of measure twice, cut once. It's the same thing. You're going to have to reiterate. You're going to have to understand that just because you put in a prompt, which is the AI speak for instructions, that the AI is going to get it right the first time. Sometimes it does, but there's been times when I've been working on a project where it's taking me 15 or 20 times, and I'm like, dang, if I knew how to draw, I could probably have done this a whole lot faster, but I can't draw. I mean, I'm the stick figure era kind of person. I can draw a stick figure, but that's about it. So the AI does help bring some of those ideas to life. The other reason why, as a small business, you want to pay attention, though, is that it helps you stay competitive as the landscape continues to change. And so these are the tools that are reasonably priced that can help you keep ahead of trends, that can help you do the research a little bit more quickly, that can give you more accurate information. But again, always verify and confirm. Don't just assume that because the AI said it, it's right. And when it gives you inaccurate information, that's what folks refer to as hallucinations. So sometimes the AI does hallucinate. And there have been times when I've had to tell the AI to go into timeout because it was so far off base that I was just like, no, I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way and go find, a website where I can like look things up on Encyclopedia Britannica or something. All right, so some real world examples. How can you use the AI in your everyday? One of the things you can do is use it to write outlines for blog posts or captions or help you draft emails. When you put images online, they're much more powerful if there's a caption underneath them. We also reinforce with our clients the importance of using what's called alt text or alternative text so that somebody that might have a visual impairment, for example, and is using a screen reader can still get the gist of what that caption is. And if you've posted on Facebook or LinkedIn or a lot of the social platforms of late, you'll see when you upload an image, there's a box that says alt text. And that's where you can type in a visual description. With AI, you can upload your images and ask AI to write the captions for you. You can also go from blog outline to actually writing blog posts. However, again, you want to put your personal touch on it, so don't expect the AI to do all the writing for you. If you do, you may also want to train it to not use certain words or use certain words that are specific to your industry. And we'll really get into the nitty-gritty of that in the next webinar in 2 weeks when we talk about prompts. You can use AI to summarize reports or customer feedback. Again, you may want to get rid of some of the personal identifying information, but if you're using Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel, the AI that's built in can summarize those reports for you. So if any of you have ever had to do pivot tables and kind of just got all stressed out about pivot tables, this is now built in with the AI to make it so much easier. Or you can give specific instructions. I need you to summarize last quarter's results compared to this quarter's results and highlight the three key areas where we need to improve, or review the customer feedback that we've entered into our database and provide suggestions on what shifts we're having the biggest problem, or comments where customers are really excited and very complimentary. And in the past, it would take hours to manually enter that feedback, review the feedback, use your gut to say, oh, yeah, I think we have a problem here. Now you can use the AI to help do that in a quick and detailed manner with good analytics. You can also use AI to create social media graphics, product markups, help you to make your social media calendar. And again, the tools have continued to improve. So about 2 weeks ago, ChatGPT launched their updated Create Image tool. And now you can create really high-end graphics for the most part with correct spelling. And so one of the biggest complaints that AI users have had about AI graphics is that sometimes there's extra body parts. So you might have 7 fingers on one hand and 3 fingers on another, that the words were just kind of gibberish. With this newest update in ChatGPT, that has solved a lot of those issues. Still not perfect, but it solved a lot of those issues. So if you wanted to do a mock-up, this is one thing to do. Now, keep in mind, the rules have also gotten tighter. So you may get an error message from one of these art tools that said, this goes against our guidelines. I can't generate that image. So if you say, I want a mirror image of a Coca-Cola ad, but replace it with, you know, Mary's bubbly soda, you may get that message that says, I can't do that. What you can do then is ask the AI to write you a prompt that will get you the result you're looking for. So again, know that it's not perfect. You can also use AI to generate training videos or what they call explainer videos. You might remember those old whiteboard animations that were very popular, wow, probably 20 years ago. There are tools out there like Pictory, Canva. We use a platform called Beyond that allows us to generate both animated and realistic explainer videos. These are not inexpensive tools, but if that is what you need to do for your business, it may be less expensive than hiring somebody to go on a video shoot and do this and edit them and reshoot and that type of thing. So that's another way that you can use AI in your day to day. You can also use it to automate customer follow-ups. And so a lot of business owners I know, myself included, follow-up is one of the areas where I really drop the ball. It's like it comes in my head, I think about it, and the next thing I know, it's a week later. I'm like, I never followed up with that person. So you can use AI to help automate that customer follow-up flow. You can use the AI to send out automated email reminders. If you registered for the webinar series, we've set up an AI automation to send out reminders and to also set up like, here's your replay, here's how you can access your replay. So you can use AI to help you with that, but you still need the human touch. So this is not something that is one and done, set it and forget it. You're still going to have to go through and make sure that it's working correctly. So test it. All right, I'm going to take a breath. We're going to talk about some first steps. Pick one thing that you want to use AI for. This could be ChatGPT, it could be Microsoft Copilot, it could be Claude, it could be Google AI Studio. There's a lot of them out there. So just pick one platform and then test it. So maybe you want to write a thank you email to all your employees for just, rallying around and supporting the business and coming to work on time and things like that. So have AI work with you to draft a couple variations. Use the free versions of the tools, whether it's ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Canva if you're more interested in art. Know that there's more limitations on the free version, but if you're just getting started and you're only spending 5 to 15 minutes a day, that's a perfect way to go because you get to try it before you have to buy it. Key thing, give the AI very clear instructions of what you want it to do. So think about the AI as if it was a new hire to your business. You typically wouldn't tell a new employee to just go and do that. You would train them. You would give them instructions. They might actually go through a training class. They might shadow a more experienced employee, depending on your industry. So think of the AI as a new hire and give it clear instructions. I would like you to write me a 5 sentence email thanking my employees for the great job they've been doing during the last month when a lot of people were out sick or were on vacation or were, dealing with storm damage. Include a place to put the employee's name and include my name in the signature line. So that's a very clear, specific instruction. You're going to get a better result. If you just go to AI, hey, I need you to write a thank you email. It's to my employees. I don't know what to write. What am I thanking them for? Am I thanking them for coming to work? Am I thanking them for handling a customer complaint? So the clearer instructions you can give, the better. And then with that, don't just take the result that the AI gives you and go, yeah, that's good. I'll just put it out there. You still want to review it and you still want to personalize it. So then copy and paste it into your favorite email or word processing program if you're doing something like I said, the thank you email, and personalize it. Add that little piece of flair that lets the employees know that this was from you. Add your signature line that maybe you're known for. Put in something specific. So if you have a very small business and maybe you just have 5 or 6 employees, go in, use that email that AI created for you as a template, but then go in and fill in something specific for each employee. Josh, I want to thank you for, coming in on your day off when Mary called in sick. I really appreciate it. And then keep the rest of it. So, customize, personalize, make it yours. So those are your first steps. That's your homework. When working with AI, start small, edit everything, use it as a thinking partner. I like to use it as a brainstorming partner. Hey, chat, I just had this idea. What do you think? Help me think through the pros and cons. Help me think through things I might have missed. Here's what I'm thinking. How do I fix it? What did I not think about? Don't input private data. Don't assume that everything the AI gives you is right. Fact check, and don't expect perfection on the first try. And this applies even when you're doing, for example, a Google search, where Google now gives you those AI search results. You still want to double check. And luckily, Google has started including links to where it's getting the information from. I'm going to put Josh on the spot again, just so you don't have to keep listening to me talk all the time. He shared this great example when we were doing the workshop for the chamber last month about how Google search sometimes did some really weird things in the early days. So, Josh, if you're available and you just want to share one or two of those examples, that would be awesome.
Right. So if you've done a Google search anytime recently, you see the AI overview that pops up. Pretty much the first thing. It basically explains what the AI's found on what you're putting into the search box. Um, Early on, since Google trained this on even social media platforms like Reddit, since since a lot of the people on there can sometimes be a bit silly, the AI came back with some very silly answers, like I'm on the spot now. I can't really
The
think
peanut
of.
butter sandwich. How do you, or like, how do you keep the cheese from falling
Oh
off your
yes,
pizza?
how do you keep cheese from falling off your pizza? Well, apparently a good way to do that is to add glue to the sauce base and glue it on there. Stuff like that. And of course, we know you don't do that, but the AI that's the data it got. So it's like, hey, have you tried just gluing it on there? And yeah, there's all sorts of examples out there of crazy things that it's come back with.
Yeah, so this is why, whether you see AI popping up in search results, whether you see AI giving you some answers and you're just kind of scratching your head going, I'm not sure if that really is accurate, you do want to review and test. Since we have a couple of minutes, I'm going to stop sharing my presentation and I want to share with you one of the tools that the team and I use pretty consistently, and that is a platform called Bootle Box. Um, it includes ChatGPT, it includes Claude, it includes Gemini. So there's several things. This is a what I call an AI aggregator. On the free program, you get limited functionality, but it's still enough to get you started. And so on the free program, you can just sign up either with Google or sign up with your email. And then you can see things like um, practice. So I'm going to sign in so that you can actually see what we have here. So what can we help you accomplish today? I want a new chat. They've got some AI tools. So these are assistants. If you're familiar with ChatGPT, this is what some people would call custom GPTs, but this is for Boodle. So here I need a professional editor to help review my report, or I need to create an agenda for a meeting. I can also just come over to the Boodle Box menu and type in something. Okay, write a thank you email to my team, thanking them for showing up during the storm. And down here, I have this list of different AI models. So Claude, I have found is really, really good with technical stuff and technical analysis. ChatGPT is the one that most people use, but you also have Gemini. Perplexity is really good for research. Flux is for images. But then on the free plan, you also have ChatGPT, Claude 3.5, so slightly earlier version, Gemini, Google, and Bing. So we're going to go with ChatGPT because this is one that most people are familiar with. We're going to start the chat. It brings me now into this chat window. And so now you can see how the AI wrote this. Now, this is based on the fact that I registered my account under my name. So, heartfelt thanks, subject to your dedication. Dear team, I hope this message finds you safe and well. Wanted to take a minute to express my deepest gratitude for your incredible dedication and commitment during the recent storm. Blah, 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 blah. This is where, though, you would go in and customize it for yourself. This is not really speaking in Mary talk. So if I went to my team and said, I want to express my deepest gratitude for your incredible dedication and commitment, my team would scratch their head and go, okay, who took over? What happened to my boss? What's going on here? So this is where it's a great starting point. but maybe it's not a finishing point. So then I could further have a conversation with it and ask it to, give me some more specifics, give me some different things, change some things up. But I could also ask it to create an image. So if I come down here and I'm going to go to Ideogram V2, please create an image to say thanks. This would also then be something that I could import and implement into my thing. Now, I am not using really detailed prompts. There's also some discussion amongst people that are using AI on a regular basis of whether or not you should use please and thank you in your prompts. Some people say it doesn't matter. Other people say it makes a difference. I like to use please and thank you just because I don't want to lose that kind of, human touch. But based on that simple, please create an image to say thanks, this is what the AI image generator created for me. So if I wanted to use it, I could just come over here and say save image. I'm going to save it in my downloads. And now I have the rights to use this image. And then I could come over here and I could copy this email, put it into my email template. And that's how simple it is to get started using
Yeah.
the AI. Yes, Judy, do you have a question? Okay. Well, if you have a question, just raise your hand and we'll continue with that. The other thing that I really like with Bootle Box, again, is not only do you have all of these different models, but when you're just getting started, they also have what they call their Bootle bots. So let's say that I am in business and I need to write a new business plan. So I can click on the Biz Plan bot and here it shows up. So it's continuing the same chat. And I want to expand my business. Please create a rough business plan. And again, this is not a carefully crafted prompt. This is trying to show you or demonstrate how easy it is to even just have a conversational experience with the AI and get some results. So here it says, I want to help you, but I have some questions for you. So if I was writing a carefully crafted prompt, I would have included that information. So what type of business do you currently offer? So I'm going to say a small bakery because we used that in our AI marketing challenge last week. So now the business plan development has more questions for me. What are your primary products? How long have you been in business? What's your current staffing situation? What are your goals? What's your approximate budget? And I can easily just do like one, cinnamon rolls. Let's see, 3 years. Let's see, fully staffed. And again, I didn't answer all the questions. I gave very short answers. It's coming back and asking me some more questions. So this is what you call conversational AI, but it's really, really useful. You can also do this with ChatGPT. On ChatGPT, they have custom GPTs. You can have this with pretty much any AI bot that's out there. But I just like this because it's built specifically for those purposes. So let's say that I needed or I needed, sorry, some help with accounting. So I can come in and say, okay, how do I automate my workflow? So again, it's going to come back and ask me questions because I didn't give them a lot of information. So it's like, what processes do you want to automate? What software do you use? What are your biggest pain points? So even if you don't want to use the AI for answers, this is a great way, in my opinion, to help you think about things you may not have thought about. And again, we are not Bootle Box salespeople. We're not affiliates of them or anything like that. We pay $20 a month per seat, but it opens up all of this information, all of these different chat engines and art engines. So in the long run, that's really saving money for us. All right, so I'm going to get out of Boodle for right now, and I'm going to go back to sharing the PowerPoint because we're just about finished. And then we open it up for questions. All right, so Here's my homework for you that are whether live or watching remotely. The first one is find the chat tool that you want to work with, whether it's ChatGPT, Bootle Box, Canva, Pictory, whatever is an area that you're most excited about learning. Copilot with Microsoft, and set aside 5 to 10 minutes a day to explore and practice. You noticed in the sample that I just did, I was not writing carefully crafted prompts. I was just having a conversation, much as if I went to my co-founder and said, "Hey, I've got this idea. What am I missing?" I use that AI as that chat partner. So if my co-founder is not available, I can still ask some questions. Test the tools in low risk areas. Don't test the tools with confidential information, something that's going to make or break your business, but test it with things like, can you come up with a 5 day social media plan, social media marketing plan for me? Can you help me craft a employee onboarding manual? Can you give me some suggestions for one or two new products that I can add for short term? Here's the parameters. To really learn what the AI is thinking, also ask it to explain its answers. So it's like, hey, chat, this was great, but why did you suggest this? Or how did you come up with this answer? The other thing is, again, join webinars, read case studies, talk to peers. Microsoft, between now and the end of May, is doing a free training on AI for managers and things to think about as you're implementing AI in your business. So that might be something that's worth subscribing to. There are several quick, short, down and dirty email newsletters that come out Monday through Friday that are about 10-minute reads at best. The Neuron is one that I read regularly. Automated is another one. They're all free subscriptions. And they just kind of focus on here's what's going on. Here's what's trending. Here's some tools you might want to check out. And again, a lot of times I just skim it and go, there's nothing there for me because I'm not in this field. So I'm going to skip that. But it helps me stay current and helps me stay on top of things. So what's next? Well, on April 25th, theoretically, my daughter's due to have her baby that day. So I may have somebody else presenting. But prompt engineering basics. What is a prompt? Why do you want to use a prompt? What's the importance of using a prompt? And we're going to update that registration page, and Lisa at the Chamber is going to be sending that out as well. May 9th, it's going to be a lot of Josh on AI art tools. May 23rd, we're going to be talking about AI video tools. The next session after that, so the first week in June after Memorial Day weekend, we're going to talk about data and data automation and using AI. And then the final session is going to be using AI to help you analyze your data and information. And those are going to be co-taught with Amadeus and I. So you can visit theschooloftechno.com. Feel free to invite a friend. We're going to send out email reminders. We're also going to send out a link to the replay probably Monday. And hopefully, you will continue to build your AI comfort and your AI knowledge. So, with that, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to see if there's any questions from anybody. Feel free to come on camera if you'd like. Type questions in the chat if you don't feel comfortable asking them. And if there aren't any questions, then we're just going to wrap up a few minutes early. So, questions, comments, protests, concerns? Did anybody learn anything? Okay, so apparently we're good. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you at the next one. Oh, good. Judy, I'm glad you got some good information and a good overview. I hope you'll join us for the prompt engineering one as well. All right, everyone. We'll talk to you the next time. Bye.